Joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a man who's written a book very timely for those of you that are out there, may have either graduated college or are going to graduate soon. It's called Now What, Grad? And we're joined today by the author, Chris Palmer, from up in the Maryland area on the telephone today. Actually, Now What, Grad? Your Path to Success After College is the full title, and Chris joined us by telephone. Chris, good to talk with you. How are you?
Doug, I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm delighted to be with you.
Yeah, good to have a chance to chat with you for a couple of minutes. Very important, obviously, education is, but I guess you're kind of seeing now a lot of, from what you hear, college graduates leaving college with not only a lot of debt, but job prospects not as good as they used to be. So it's a big issue, isn't it?
It's a big issue, and it's kind of scary for them. They've been in college for 4 years. They've been told what to do, when to show up, when to take classes. Suddenly they're out in the real world and maybe living in the basement of their parents' house trying to find a job. It's a scary time, and they need all the help they can get.
What brought you to write the book at this particular time?
Because I've looked at my students at American University, and I see them struggling. They've focused on their majors. They've focused on their grades. They've focused on the technical knowledge, whatever they are, engineers, learning German, whatever their subject area is, filmmaking. But what they're often not good at, not good enough at, is some of those soft skills, those people skills, the ability to collaborate, be a team member, give a speech, run a meeting. Also things like finding a job, acing a job interview. And these are all skills that often they don't focus on in school, in college, because they're so busy building the technical knowledge and getting grades and partying and drinking, so my book is Now What, Grad? My book is designed to help students face up to the skills they need in the real world.
I should have mentioned you're with American University. You're a film and media art professor there. So I didn't
exactly. I make wildlife films. Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, I agree with you there. I always thought, why not have 3, 6, maybe even a whole semester dedicated to credits of teaching in one, how to find a job, how to do interviews, those kind of skills. I think that should be mandatory. But maybe I guess it's speaking to deaf ears where it's falling on.
Yeah, well, not completely. I mean, for example, in American University this fall, I'm teaching a class called Design Your Life for Success. And other colleges, like Connecticut College, for example, has a good program of starting their students early on, even as freshmen, doing informational interviews in the career areas they're interested in. So some schools are doing good work, and of course, almost all universities, like American University, has a career center which works hard, diligently, helping students. Still, the fact remains is that many of our students come out from college not prepared for the real world. They think they're going to get a high-paying job. They think they're going to have lots of responsibility. They think they're going to be, high up there. And they have to realize they've got to start at the bottom. They have to earn their way. They have to do whatever's required of them. They have to be resilient and ethical and collaborative and be lifelong learners, and all these things they have to get better at.
Yeah, that's a big culture shock particularly if you're a student that you got all A's or everything like that, and you get out there and the job offered to you is not that what you expect.
Well,
it's an ego thing.
Yeah. Well, Doug, you're making a very good point. They used to be getting awards for everything, be patted on the back, even if their work isn't that good. And real life isn't like that. A boss, an employer, is not going to tolerate shoddy work. And so it's a rude. For some of these kids, it's a rude shock, and they're not used to failing. And I like to say to people, to students particularly, that don't look on failure as a stigma. Failure is, it is unpleasant, but it's an essential part of striving and learning. Failing does not mean you are a failure. It means you're actually trying hard, taking risks, getting out of your comfort zone. All those are good things. So I say to people, fail more, because that shows you're trying and learning.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's broken down into chapters: how to find a job, how to ace a job interview, how to be a leader. I guess let's start with a little bit of how to find a job. Can you give a tip or two? What you suggest?
Yeah. Well, the thing to do, you want to get to know people in your area of interest, whatever that area, business, filmmaking, whatever. I mean, join organizations that are active in those areas. Go to meetings, meet people, network. This is the way, and I encourage people to just write to, Google a company that you're interested in or an organization, see who's there, look at their background, see someone who's interesting and relevant, and email them and say, I'm just graduated, I'm very interested in your company. I would love to have just an informational interview, not a job interview. I would like to come along and just learn a little bit more what you do. Could you spare 10 minutes for me to drop by your office? And this type of thing, older people, adults, are also usually very pleased to help younger people get started. So I think you'll find that, people will get a good response. And anyway, networking is key. Mentoring is key. And then when you're able to get an interview, you want to go to that interview well prepared, dressed properly, smiling, good handshake, look him in the eye, come prepared with a few questions a few probing questions to ask to show that you are familiar with the company, what they do.
And the whole process of the job interview, has changed a lot too. I know a lot of them do video interviews now. Different companies use social media. It's a whole different process.
That's true. But the bottom line, it hasn't changed, which is you need to come across as someone who's highly professional, responsive, good-natured, pleasant to be with, someone who can take criticism well and learn from it. So those basics haven't changed. And by the way, Doug, you mentioned social media, and it's so important for people not to put stupid pictures up there, pictures of them holding a glass of wine or something. You just want to be professional in everything you do, because nowadays employers do check social media, and if you come across as a jerk, you're not going to be hired.
That's true. A lot of people have done things in the past that wasn't put up in media forever. Now it is, so you have to be careful.
Yeah.
I like the one chapter, how to give a compelling elevator speech. I think that's an important thing to know how to do.
It really is, because you never know when you're going to sit next to somebody, have a few minutes with them on an aeroplane, at a party, in an elevator. This is where the name comes from. And the idea is you get in an elevator on the 10th floor and you see someone like Steven Spielberg or someone important in your business, and you're riding down with them to the second floor, and you have literally just a few minutes to introduce yourself and make a pitch and say, may I call you next week for another meeting to talk about this further. And so being able to, in about 15 seconds, to make a compelling, persuasive, cogent little speech, just a little few statements about who you are and why you want to see them, very, very important. And it's a good thing to practice, to practice it, so when the opportunities arrive, you can jump on the opportunity.
Do you find, from your students, Chris, are they optimistic of graduation, or a lot of them just saying, I'll just stay in school and try and put it off?
No, they're not. They're not optimistic. No, they're not. They're worried. They're scared, and they're worried. Will they get a job? Will they even? And if they even find a job, will they be underemployed? In other words, will they be fully challenged? And even if they're fully challenged and employed, will they be earning enough money to pay off their ridiculously high student debts? Right. No, they are terrified would be too strong, but very, very worried about their futures, and because those in STEM areas, scientific, technological, math, and engineering, those people will do better. But people who study psychology or English or history, those are tough subjects. So yes, you're quite right, Doug, to point out that someone will say, okay, I'm going to stay in school, do a master's degree, and that sometimes is a good decision. But I would always encourage people after college to take a year off to do something interesting, travel, join the Peace Corps, do something challenging before going back to do your master's degree.
Yeah. Well, it's a book filled with great tips and information. Again, it's called Now What Grad? Your Path to Success After College. And we're talking with Chris Palmer today. Chris, get out your website and people get more information about your book.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doug. Yeah, so my website is just my name, ChrisPalmerOnline.com. Chris is C-H-R-I-S Palmer, P-A-L-M-E-R, ChrisPalmerOnline.com. The book is Now What Grad. Easy to get through. It's in any bookstore, but easy to get it. The easiest to get it at Amazon.com. And so it makes a wonderful gift to graduates. If any of your listeners have any young people in their lives, it just makes a wonderful gift to help advance them in their careers and in their lives.
And as someone who enjoys the Imax films, I know you've done a lot of that. Thank you for that. They're very entertaining. There's a big Imax theater down here in northwest of Tampa that we
wonderful. Our latest film is National Parks Adventure with Robert Redford, and I hope your listeners can get to see it. It's a wonderful, wonderful film.
Great format, that Imax work in.
It is.
Well, Chris, pleasure talking to you. Appreciate the time, and hopefully we can do it again. Thanks for being with us.
Wonderful. I hope so, too. Doug, thank you so much for having me on. Take care. Bye-bye.
Make romance, it might break your heart, but if you think that time will change your ways, don't wait too long. Don't wait. Don't wait.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or Doug Miles.